How's it going? So we're in the bush for a couple of days and yeah, going to be hunting and gathering wild food, so should be bloody good. I've made things a little bit more difficult this time. I didn't bring the rifle, so I brought the bow. So yeah, there's no guarantees we're going to have any success on that front. It's pretty hard going with the bow, but it'll be a good little challenge for us over the next day or so to see if we can get an animal with that. But yeah, sweet, I'm going to get into it. Going to make a decision about where we're going to go. It's 7:30 now, so it's almost time to start setting up a camp, so I'm just going to make a quick decision and then we'll get into it. Sweet. Oh man, look at this watercress. So good. Some nice juicy kade or berries here. Right, so I've just decided to camp down in the creek here tonight. My original plan was to climb up into a head yut and camp up there, but I'm really liking the look of the creek. Yeah, the wind's really good, it's really still down in here. There's just a very subtle breeze coming down the creek, so I thought I'd just set my hammock up here. And there's no need to light a fire because I haven't got anything to eat. So I'm just going to quietly set up camp, and who knows, maybe a deer would walk out onto that little open creek flat and we could shoot it with the bow. We're kind of in a little ambush spot here. And also, I noticed just up the creek, there's a little bit of windfall, and it looks from here, it looks like there's some type of broadleaf, whether it's kamahi or puka or something like that. I'm not too sure, I haven't had a close look, but there's something palatable that's fallen down in the creek up here. I'll just show you. So yeah, just up there. There's a bit of windfall that's actually fallen into the creek. So So my evil plan is that a deer's gonna walk across there and be eating it. And we can sneak up with the noise of the creek. Maybe we'll be able to shoot one. Oh well, the deer didn't come out. Well, it was still light enough for us to see him. So yeah, don't have to worry about being too quiet now. Got our camp set up. Yeah, the key to having a real nice sleep in a hammock, I reckon, is having minimal rope between the tree and the hammock. Just like that, on either side. And then you can have a nice little sag in your hammock. Nothing too crazy, but it's not real tight. Just perfect. And I always try and put my head end down a bit lower. Otherwise, sometimes, man, you just slide. You end up in a little ball at the end, at the foot end of your hammock. So, yeah, better to have the head end slightly lower than the foot end. Anyway, I'll see you in the morning. Morning. So we're just heading up the creek now. There's a little bit of sign around. Oh yeah, we'll see how we go. Oh man, I can smell deer really strongly here. That shit looks pretty fresh. It's not warm, but it's pretty fresh. Probably last night. Man, look at all these juvenile emu. There's literally so many here that I can see. I couldn't even count them. There's probably 20 there. Right here, oh man, they're just thick. Look at them all. There's probably at least 10 to a dozen in this little group. Probably, you know, heaps more back there. Probably 100 odd rimu trees right here. Rimu saplings. Pretty awesome to see. Man. Oh well, so we've ditched the main pack now. I've just got a couple of essentials on my belt. First aid kit, knife. And yeah, I'm just going to go for a sneak up this side stream here, and then I'm going to climb up a spur, I think, and get up into the tawa bush. See if there's any tawa berries around up there. And then, yeah, see if we can find an animal to shoot with the bow. If we can, I'm not too worried, but I thought I'd give it a crack this morning and see how we go. And if we don't have any luck, then I'll focus on foraging some plants this afternoon. Okay, so I've just climbed up out of the creek now. Climbed up the steep face here. There's quite a few feed trees. A lot of mahoe. mako and stuff like that up here. And there was a heap of deer sign down in the creek below it, so I'm assuming they're up here on this face at the moment in the sun. So I'm just going to slowly move around and sit down for 10-20 minutes at a time in each spot up here, just listening for rocks rolling down, because it's really steep and there's lots of rocks. So when deer walk around on this stuff, hopefully they'll roll a few rocks down and I'll be able to work out where they are. It's going to be tricky trying to stalk them on this stuff, but at least we know there's animals here. This stuff here is cudweed. Grows on slip faces and grassy areas. And it's quite good for you. And yeah, the leaf is quite furry. Green on top, white on the bottom. And yeah, it's really chewy. It's just like chewing gum pretty much. Maybe you get like a slight salty taste from it. Well, we're up on top of the slip now. Didn't bump into any deer up there, but there's definitely deer around. There's heaps of sign. We just didn't quite bump into them. They must have been somewhere else on the face. Not quite where we climbed up, but heaps of food down there. Found a heap of berries, mingi berries, kawa berries. There's quite a few mamaku growing on the slip as well. But yeah, I might leave them for now. There's quite a few of them around, so I can probably find one if I get desperate, but I'm not too hungry at this point. I've actually eaten quite a few berries. Ate a fair bit of watercress this morning. Yeah, just cruising at this point, not too desperate. Okay, so I've just climbed up a little bit higher now, and I've just been looking across at a slip across this gut here, and there's a yearling / fawn sitting on the top of one of the slips. So I can only assume there's at least a hind over there with her, possibly a spiker, possibly there's a load of deer over there hidden in the bush. So the wind is pretty bad. It's basically going to them. But yeah, there must be a crosswind coming down that gut, because my wind where I am is heading directly towards that deer. But seems happy as over there, so I don't think it can smell me. So yeah, I'm thinking about putting a stalk into that area. I'm just going to have to climb up quite high and then cross the gut and come back down and hopefully drop down on top of those deer so that the wind's not too bad when I get there. And then hope that there's something shootable when I get over there. And if there's not, I'm just that'll be my hunt for the morning. I'll cruise down to the creek and we'll gather up some plants. Oh, I'm not sure how much of that you guys saw, but long story short, I got close to the slip and I heard the hind calling her fawn further around the face, and then the fawn took off. It wasn't a bark, so it was just literally a call, so I knew they weren't spooked. Quite often there that you hear the old hinds at this time of year going, and we heard it. So I decided just to carry on sneaking down the slip face here, and then we saw the hind. I watched her for a little bit sidling around below us, and she looked pretty skinny. Yeah, the main reason I decided to take her was because she was skinny, and there are a lot of deer in here. There's not a lot on these slip faces, and yeah, they probably could do with thinning out, so I decided to take her. I've just come up to where I shot her. It's just around there. I've just found a bit of blood on the ground here. Oh yeah, first bit of blood there. Only about 5 meters from where we shot her. The arrow went down, just directly down into her. Yeah, I shot her from up top, so I was hoping to just hit the spine and she'd just crumble, but she hasn't. She's moved, but hopefully we've gone down the side and at least got a lung or main artery. I'll just give her a second and then we'll go and see if we can find her. Sweet. Well, we've just come to this spot here. There's quite a bit of blood, and there's some hair. We can see she's stopped here for a bit, probably while we were waiting. We're only about 50 metres from where we shot her. And there's a heap of blood on this fern here going over the edge. So it looks like she's fallen off here. So our arrow's stuck into the bank there. So she's got the arrow out of her, but there's a few ferns that have been squashed, so it looks like she's rolled off there. So fingers crossed she's just down there and she's expired already. Well, I was about to say one good thing about arrows is that you can reuse them, but we won't be reusing that one. And there she is. She didn't go far. It's only about 80 metres from where we shot her, but in saying that, she rolled a long way down this face here. So yeah, in reality she only walked about 50 metres and then she expired, I'd say, up there where we found that blood in here, and she's just rolled down the hill here another 40 odd metres. Oh man, I'm stoked with that. I didn't think I'd be able to shoot a deer with the bow in that short a time span, you know, because we only really had a day of hunting, or only a morning really, because we were about to throw in the towel and go go pick some plants. So you can see that's where the arrow went in. It might look a bit far back, but I was at an angle looking at her from behind too, from behind and above, so it is about the right angle to make it through into the vitals. And there is about that angle. If we aimed up here on that angle, we would have missed him, and we might have just given her a flesh wound. But I'd say that arrow, we'll have a look, but I'd say it's gone into the lungs and heart area, because we've missed the spine, so it wouldn't have broken her spine at all. Well, she rolled a bit further down the hill. I tried to just move her slightly to get a good spot to gut her in, and yeah, she came all the way down to the bottom of the creek gut, just about. Yeah, that arrow actually came out, went right through, come out down here. So from there through here is the pathway. So we probably did just about heart shoot her, and that's, you know, your heart's about in there somewhere. Just drag the guts up a wee bit from the creek so it doesn't stink up the water too much. Well, I've decided to leave the deer up here for now. It's bloody steep, this gut. There's lots of little waterfalls, so I'm just taking the bow and all this unnecessary stuff back down to the main creek, and then yeah, I'll walk back up with the empty pack and then we'll bone the deer out and then carry it down to the main creek. Sweet. Right, so back down in the main creek now, set up a camp, got the fire going there, got the hammock over there. I had to move the hammock actually because I did have it on this tree to this tree. This tree's actually dead. It's a dead kaikomako by the looks. So yeah, had to move it over there. So that deer was super lean. There was no fat on her at all, eh? So break open a few of these leg bones, get some bone marrow out, and we'll use that to grease the pan. Then we'll fry up some heart, some liver. Oh, can't wait. So yeah, I'll just chuck that bone on the fire to get it nice and brittle. So we got it out of the fire. Should break pretty easy now. There we go. Oh, that wasn't working too well. The bone marrow was just starting to burn, so I chucked a bit of water in there. It's not ideal, but it'll do the trick. Well, it doesn't look too good. I'll admit that, that's for sure. There's nothing that quite beats a bit of fat to cook your food in. It makes all the difference. But I'm sure it still tastes pretty good. I mean, I haven't eaten much today, so yeah, not bad at all. I was also hoping I'd be able to find a heap of tawa berries so that we could cook them up on the coals, and that would have been awesome, but this is all I found, just 2, and they're not quite ripe. Yeah, the pulp's not too good on them. I'll chuck them on the fire anyway. Still a bit of tucker. I'll just make a nice little spot for them over here. And we'll fish them out shortly. Well, there we have it. Our 2 prize tawa berries. Man, I thought we were going to be able to pick a heap of these because about a month ago I was in a different area and there was a really good berry drop. And it's not that far from here. So yeah, just goes to show you can't rely on something like that because it's not always going to be there. But yeah, we'll give them a try. I'll just sort of break away that crusty layer. Oof, a little bit burnt. Not too bad though. Delicious actually. Well, there you go, tawa berries don't need to be ripe for them to taste pretty good. I mean those ones were almost ripe but they weren't quite ripe. And for a hot drink at the end of the day, I'm going to have some bone broth, so I'll chuck these bones in there. And I'll give them a good boil up. Here we have it, there's our bone broth. Some nice little jellified bits of gristle. Still a little bit chewy because I didn't cook it for that long. Oh well, let's see how the broth tastes. Pretty good. That's probably the nicest thing I've had all day actually. It's got a nice saltiness to it. Anyway, I'm going to climb into my sleeping bag and curl up and go to sleep. Pretty knackered. I'll see you guys in the morning. Up bright and early this morning. Just going to go down to the creek and do the dishes. Meat's nice and cool. So yeah, we'll pack up our camp and we'll cruise out of here. This was my backup plan. I've got a cut on my finger, so I think it can smell the blood on it. Oh well, we'll let him be. This is our breakfast this morning. Always seem to eat pretty healthy in the bush. pretty hard to find processed food up here. Well, just on my way out here, and just going down the track, and I noticed all of these little quahaya fruit, which is our native passion fruit. You can see it's got those little seeds in there, just like sort of like passion fruit looking, but a lot smaller. They certainly don't taste as good as the passion fruit we're used to having these days, the nice sweet stuff. But definitely edible. Maybe a subtle orangey taste to it. Not bad. Anyway, I'm going to head out of the bush now. Just going to keep cruising down the creek. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Cheers.